Labeling your partner, and I'm going to go with narcissist. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Why your partner disrespects you and how you have the power to influence a different lifestyle, a different adventure for your marriage. Will this work for me? Stop sending miles of text messages. Your wife withholding sex from you. Truth, integrity, moving fast, and sound decisions. Labeling your partner, and I'm going to go with narcissist. First, welcome to the Morrow Marriage podcast, guys. Today, I want to get into a very important lesson. Honey, I'm getting sick and tired of people sending DMs and getting on calls, and they already have predetermined what the condition is, quote unquote, for their partner. And a lot of times for yourselves, okay? The reason why this is so important, guys, is because the more you put yourself into a box, you confine yourself. You can't move yourself the same way because you now automatically have all the limitations that everybody has told you with that label. Okay? Make sense? The very first one I want to talk about is narcissism, and we can't obviously cover everything today, but narcissists. Okay, you know enough from listening to this podcast that there is a possibility of change, whether it is just my example or whether you've listened to Kathryn and some of the messages that she has put out there about the studies, but most people, you're not looking at statistics. You're not looking at information that leads you where you want to go because you're using that label to define your pain and your trauma, i.e. the blame that you're giving to your partner, and then therefore not allowing yourself to be able to heal. So that means that you are defined by your partner's narcissism, okay? Now, if you're a narcissist, or a lot of guys get on the call with me, honey, and they're like, yeah, I've been reading on it, and I'm a narcissist. I need your help, Cass. Yeah, but you're already setting yourself up for fucking failure because you're also seeing all the messages that are hurtful about what you've done, which causes like guilt, shame, causes you then to go into a low a lot of the times. You must remove the label. You're just a fucking person who doesn't know how to love, but you do know how to love bomb, which means, like Kathryn figured out,
if you know how to love bomb, then you obviously know how to love. So when you pull that back and you're not treating your wife or your husband appropriately, and your husband or wife consequently feels that you don't know how to love, you actually do know. That's how you hooked them.
Yes.
That's how you tricked them, is how they feel.
Quote, unquote,
because they feel that it wasn't real.
That's right.
But it was real. It's just that you have no idea how to be consistent, and you're so transactional and so bitter and resentful when you don't get what you think that you need, that you give it and then you pull it back, and you give it and you pull it back so that you can have control.
That's right.
So sure, maybe you're a narcissist, but if you just identify the behaviors and actions that you are participating in and the ways that you're behaving, then you can just address those behaviors and label yourself. I don't actually care. He doesn't like the labels. I like the labels because then you can help yourself identify, if you're going to actually help yourself identify how to change, not to swim in guilt and shame because of all the things that you've done wrong.
Or to blame your partner.
Oh, right.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
let me give you a really, really good example, okay? Let's say you're eating, okay? Everybody has to eat.
I love eating.
Okay? When you skip a meal because you were busy, or maybe you thought that's how you should diet, it's not, okay? Do you never eat again? No.
That's devastating.
Yeah, it would be for you.
I'm so triggered right now. Oh my gosh.
No, you don't label yourself as a person who doesn't eat. You pick up the fucking fork and you eat again.
That's
okay?
Right.
And so the moment you start adding a label to that, well, fuck, now I'm going to be fat forever. Fat's a label. Like, listen, then the moment, Kathryn's right.
Remember guys, labels come off.
That's right.
It doesn't change your identity. It's not your identity. So you can say I'm a narcissist, but then you can take that off, right? You don't live with it as being part of you, as being attached to you. That's why it's called a label, because labels, they peel on and off.
Yeah, so no matter how sticky the glue is.
Yeah, it can come off, which means progress can be made.
That's right. You guys, this is so important because you're going down rabbit holes. Attachment theory is like the massive one right now. And there's a couple people, when I post on social media, the reels come up and I see it all the time. And this one guy especially, but there's a few that are just like diving into the attachment theories and diving into what you can expect. And, well, I don't know, but she's a super avoidant. And like, yeah, okay. You know what? What does that mean, that you're an avoidant just when you shut down? Like maybe they just become this person, because of the way that the behavior kept on progressing in the relationship, the way that you guys fight, you decided to shut down and pull back. And now you're thinking half the time, none of this is fucking real. Besides that, even if it is you saying that means that I can't have what I want? Like, let's use the narcissist. I say it's a true gift, right? That you get to have if you got a toxic person or you got somebody who's negative sentiment override, it's a true gift to show them what this love actually it feels like, to be consistent with it, right? Somebody who's avoidant, let's use that one for a second. Like, that just means that you have to be more exciting than why they're avoiding. Just make it that fucking simple and peel the label off. Like, who fucking cares? Now, I'm with Kathryn. I'm with you, honey. You can use a label to identify, but the problem is too many of you are getting stuck in whatever the label is.
You want to hear something? Mm-hmm. So I talked to a woman the other day, and I said, she's giving me the symptoms. I always ask what she's seeing. Why are you on the phone with me? And she's giving me the symptoms. And I said, I need to ask, do you believe your husband is a narcissist? Mm-hmm. And she said, I am afraid to answer that question because I'm afraid of what that means about me, because I chose him. And I said, that's perfect. I need to know that, because yes, that means that there's something that you need to address in yourself. But the reason I ask if she thinks he's a narcissist is because it's important for me to know what kind of characteristics and behaviors he's going to be showing her and how she can start to act differently, because it's different if you're working with a narcissist than it is if you're working with someone that is not like that at all. Mm-hmm. There's just a different way that you're going to approach it. And so I want the label on there, but only so that I can help her intervene and to get better, not so that I can be, your husband's a narcissist and then justify why she feels the way she feels. Mm-hmm. No, I will validate her, but then I'm going to teach her how to navigate this relationship with someone that she doesn't know how to navigate with.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Peeling the label off.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant with your partner's an avoidant. Okay, so be so exciting they don't want to avoid you. That's it. People,
help your partner with secure attachment.
Yeah, exactly. Long before we ever talked about attachment theories, we were talking about people that were like hermits and living in their fucking home. Okay, yeah, we justified why that was, right? Like, my aunt was like that. Oh yeah, she just likes to watch movies and be alone and just have her alone time and blah, blah, blah. Okay, but you're living in that. I also don't like to go out. The reason why this stands out to me is because I was like, I think, yeah, that's kind of like who I am as a person and whatever. Yeah, well, what I recognized with a partner who's fun and exciting and knows how to have, well, a good party,
I sure do.
Was like, every time I go out, it's fucking fun. Mm-hmm. I like to listen more when I'm out, and Kathryn likes to meet people, bring them over, make them our best friends. You know what I mean? Like, that if I'm stuck with the label, then our life is not exciting. I'm literally saying, no, let's just stay home. Mm-hmm. So we can peel the label off. And this work becomes especially important in creating a new marriage, because you have to know who you are. And if you define yourself by your mistakes, any one of those labels, that's like calling me a rapist or a physically abusive man still, whatever, right? Like, then I'm still defined by that, and we can't have this new marriage, because I'm not going to be a new person then, right? Insecurity is another label, guys. Like I said, we can't talk about this all day long, but you are not insecure. You are using insecurity to guide your decisions. You are feeling insecure. Okay? And then you make fear-based decisions. The faster you can do the work to peel off these labels, the faster you can create a new man or woman, and therefore invite your partner to the new marriage. Make sense?
Which should make sense to all of them, because that's exactly what we did. Mm-hmm. Yes, my husband is a narcissist, severe narcissist, managing self-aware narcissist. Mm-hmm. But that's not how he introduces himself. That's not how I introduce him to people, because that's not how he's acting. If he was acting like that all the time, which he used to, then I probably would say, excuse my husband, he's a narcissist. But I talk about it when we tell our story, because of how incredible it is that he doesn't act in the way that his natural inclination is to do. Mm-hmm. So it should make sense for everybody.
Yeah. All right, guys.
You're following us, and we did it.
Yeah. And thousands of people before you even heard this podcast. Okay. Yes. So it's time to take a step to peel the labels back, identify who you truly are, and create the life that you want in the decisions with your core values, in the decisions of where you want to go, structuring the future and the life that you want, no matter what you're talking about, your relationship, your finances, your health, whatever, fuck the hobby farm that your wife loves. You know what I mean? So
I do.
Threw that in for you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to throw one into you too. Right away. Ooh, okay. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.